live. Want to do an astro chat because we have a lot coming up. Astrologically, it's very exciting, and I wanted to get on the ephemeris really quickly and just sort of take a look. Now, first things first, we chatted about this on members, by the way. Thank you so much for your support on members, those of you tuning in. We did a chat that sort of encapsulated the week. I've been so busy, so I don't know if we'll do the weeklies here for this week, but I got onto members and I chatted the astrology. So if you're interested in that, feel free to tune in there. And yeah, let me take a look though, really quickly. And actually, let me tweet that link right now to that video if you are interested. We sort of overviewed the Void of Course times that would be for the upcoming week, and also any major transits, but I felt guided to jump on here and chat. We haven't had an astrology chat for some time. Okay, let me get it really quickly. The members video. And if you are a member, you can access all the members videos on the playlist for members. So in case you were wondering, in case you didn't know, that song. Okay. But yeah, so maybe a message for someone. Okay. Give me a sec. If you hear something in the backdrop, that's entity sapien, negative entity, demonic frequency clearing, music will say binaural beats. So yeah, if you're wondering, okay. It's literally weekly update astrology member. That's the title. I'll share that on Twitter right now in case you're wondering you want to get to it more easily. And Twitter handle is alchemy in you. I do recommend to follow. No, you're not going crazy. That is a ringing sound. Yeah, that's the binaural beat. So guys, I do recommend. I definitely recommend follow on Twitter because I just update there quite often when YouTube is like down and not updating when I'm going live as well, if that's something that you're curious about. Now let's get into it, guys. We have a lot of water energy here. Let's get down to it. We've got a lot of water energy here. This is obviously Pisces season we're talking about, but the most important thing here is the clearing that we're doing, and this is on a galactic level. I'm hearing that. Okay, spirit guys have been talking more, I think, about, you know, this side of things. Hold on, I think it's gonna start playing like another video. Nikola Tesla, 369 hertz. Okay, so, but yeah, the bed is always undone. Pisces. Okay, hold on. So let's go back to it. Yeah, we're talking, obviously, we're talking galaxy talk. We're talking, it's not just Earth. Obviously, we're not just here to, yeah. So spirit guides, but the point is that I feel like spirit guides have been wanting to make this more clear, more obvious, have been bringing this into the conversation more often than not in the past times. So in other words, like, yeah, this is a broader conversation about energy and what we're doing here, really, and light work and star seeds and what it all kind of is brought together as. And you're part of a broader conversation, right? And especially if you're tuning into this video and you've been on the channel and you're drawn to the channel and you're drawn to the content, you're drawn to these astro talks especially, you are on a huge wave. And so we are literally riding this wave. I'm feeling guided to sort of draw this out. You know, we're riding this wave, and so we have been, right? Hey guys, okay, let's clear the energy and ground. Sorry about that. So let's get back to it. Yeah, we're talking like, okay, there are these waves, right? So, and we're definitely, this is I keep hearing like galactic. This is something galactic. This is not just like Earth, right? I mean, we are going through our soul contracts here, but we're also working in different dimensions simultaneous. Now we have here some pretty big waves that we're working with now. I want to grab the ephemeris though, and there's something that obviously we're coming up from. How do we say this? When we're moving forward, right, in this present moment, we're moving. But with relation to the so-called past, it's not random what it is that we're transmuting at this time. We're definitely bringing conversation forth from, I'm hearing years ago, lifetimes ago. Let's grab here, though, again, the ephemeris. And we're doing some major clearing. Obviously, this is obvious, but I think it's understood. But let me also delete here what I have. Let's see. Clear the energy and ground. Yeah, so I think we're also going to just be kind of seeing things very clearly as well. But let's get into the the astrology is like so many. I feel like I'm working with a few guys here right now, and it's interesting. Okay, they have their own conversation. Thank you. It's crazy. Okay, so now what? We're looking at there is a big hump. But okay, what are we in terms of the astrology? Venus going direct, clearing from post shadow retrograde. This is huge. Okay, so I just want to like write this down. Actually, I don't write it down here. Venus clears from post shadow. This is gonna be on. I originally was under the impression that it is around March 6th or 7th. So I will write March 7th. Anyways, it's nice to give some time, right, to move back through. This is key. Because this is a long cycle, right? And so for those of you who are still like feeling like what is going on, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we still have Venus retro. Technically, listen, I know, what are you talking about? Venus is all direct. Okay, Venus can be direct. Sounds like Pinocchio. Venus can be direct, but in my book, I don't consider it. I mean, are you going to say that you took half the class and you got to half the semester and you're done and you don't have to take you don't have to take the final exam? Yeah, I mean, what's that about, right? So it's like, would you ever take a class, okay, and just just kick your legs up halfway through when you take the midterm? I mean, I don't know who's so entitled. But there's this clearing that happens in stages and waves. So I get kind of frustrated with this because it's a lot of this new age sort of way of, Mercury retrograde, like it's over. It's like, there's so much, I mean, it's great that people are talking more about this, but we have to get really, I think, more down to it in terms of what is actually, like, what is this even actually talking about here in terms of clearing? And it is really, and that's why sometimes I get frustrated because people then, they're like, well, why do I still feel like shit's all up in the air? Well, because you really have to look at the shit for what it is, and maybe it's talking about that point in time, but it's still talking, and it's still talking about something, related to the past. So this is about really getting the clearing cycles very clear, in terms of your perspective. Also, oh, hello, thank you so much for your super chat. Your birthday is March 1st, Zaya, Zeve, Notter, Zevenator. Happy birthday, exciting to everyone here who is a Pisces sun sign. Now, what is going on? Venus trine North Node we have coming up as well. This is actually today. This was earlier this morning, actually. No, tomorrow, actually, March 1st. We have the moon void Aquarius. Okay, this is going to be tomorrow morning as well. We're talking, let me get the time zone here. Take it as you will. At least she's laughing. Moon in Sagittarius, 8:28 a.m. Cackling. Cackling, laughing, okay? No offense, I'm like, Mars, sextile Neptune. All right, maybe that's a message. Okay, all right. I mean, we got some history of cackling, I'm sure. But we'll talk about that here today with all the Neptune energy, right? Going, with the sextile with the Mars, but here's the important thing. Why is it saying February 23rd? Chart for now. Why is it saying? Why is it? Okay, let's go back. Well, so the Mars trine North Node. Okay, let's get back to it. So Mars trine North Node was today, 1:31 p.m. Mars sextile South Node, 1:31 p.m. My spirit guides had me they have me on a time zone. And I know when they do this, it's like during very particular transits. Sometimes they have me awake. Sometimes they knock me out like right when there is like the bulk of that transit. So let's backtrack. Some of you dealing with, I'm going to get honest here. You're going to be seeing where people have been not in the light with you. I'm hearing that as well. Where people have been kind of, not appropriate. I'm hearing it like that ultimately. I'm seeing this with the Mars in relation to the nodes because Mars also rules the ego. We can say in a sense, right? The shadow as well of Mars is the ego and the feeling that it's just me in the world right now, okay? All me, that energy, love and light. Let's clear it. Aries can be a beautiful, beautiful frequency. Of course. I mean, I love Aries energy personally. Like, I'm manifesting, and I've got a lot of it myself. You know, my sister is an Aries sun sign. In the higher spectrum, it's very, you know, youthful, energizing. We all need that every now and then. But in the shadow, okay, it can really become like, wow. Hi, yeah, no, I'm also here. And you're literally in your own little world right now. And so whoever's been kind of maybe operating from that lens, or it could be your own energy, you're like, wow, I was literally kind of seeing myself as the only, I'm hearing I'm hearing presenter in the room. Yeah, maybe it's even related to your work. Okay, take it as you will. Now, we're just having epiphanies, of course, as we hit those nodes. With Mars, it's about also our actions, what we feel compelled by, our motivations. Okay, so you are, though, going to be coming into contact, I'm hearing like this, with people who have been on some level and some plane. I'm hearing, oh wow, I'm seeing like people who like were not talking to you and like kind of even ignoring you. I see the script being flipped, and they are like, I'm seeing someone asking you like, hey, how are you doing? It's like they never used to like ask that. I'm hearing that. Yeah, so whoever's been, let's say like this, in the shadow frequency of Mars, that's what will be corrected here as we hit these nodes. Okay, which we did here today. However, this is a transit, and I talk about this more in members when we really get into the astro, the long-term sort of projectile of these aspects. It's not just today. This is, let's say like this, we have an orb, right? So we hit that exact orb here, let's say on the 28th, but we still have time between. So when it begins and when it ends. Now, some of you here, you're going to be seeing that some people are absolutely not in the light, and they don't have your best interest, and you are getting to the point possibly where you're saying, I really just see it. Some people will shift their behavior, and you'll see who makes that effort and who doesn't. You'll see who falls off the map and who really shows up. So yeah, this is going to become very obvious, and I'm hearing from Spirit, try not to take it personally, of course, because we are moving through these transits and they're clearing cords. We were talking about this a few months ago, actually, where Spirit came through and was like, guys, we're going to be doing this big time. It's going to be official. Some people are going to be phased out of your life, and that's normal. That's natural. This is like, I mean, you're not always, I mean, it's like, how do we say, when you have had too much of a certain vitamin in your body, you may start, not wanting to have that food anymore. Maybe you overdid it with a certain food. Your body will tell you, no, no, no. This is your spirit guides. They're connecting you and reconnecting you with people you do need to get in contact with, and they're dissipating the energy space with people who have not been in your best interest. I'm hearing it like that. And if you have been in contact, they're going to be detoxifying those cords. Let's clear it. This is very simple. They may be in a space of, hey, wait, you're not forgetting mommy. Well, I mean, who are you and who am I? Have we been really interacting in an honest and authentic manner with one another, or have you had the ego here? Okay, forefront for at the forefront of the conversation. So that's, but it is what it is, and it's not to say that like, it's just, it is what it is. And I feel like spirit guides are going to be disconnecting and not doing a lot of talking or explaining. It's just going to be a moment where you say, I clearly feel like this is the direction and I'm not looking back. Let's clear. Some of you definitely, this is not, and the more, let's see, the more that you feel the detachment, it's the narcissistic frequency. Okay, that's being cleared right now. So the heavier the karma also associated, like if that person was incredibly narcissistic and they've racked up a lot of karma points at the arcade, okay, with their behavior, you are going to you may not ever hear from that person again. Let's just say, and it's a good thing because you're not there to, it's like they're love and light, but they may get into a proverbial, like, how do we say this? Like, I gotta make it so clear, Spirit really wants this clear. They may get into an astral car crash. You're not supposed to be in their car at that time. Let's just say it like that. So I'm sorry, but this is on an energetic level. They are going to it's not up to you to be there with them and live through it. So whatever is leaving your life, be okay with it. Just say, all right, I'm gonna let it go. Love and light, it's them learning their lesson. And if there is any feeling of guilt or pain or shame or etc., whatever it is, that's their energy projecting, because you don't deserve to be in that story with them, right? You did not make those decisions. Everybody has their own story. And if you do feel, but I still love them. I still love them. Okay, if you still feel that way, okay, that is the shadow of Neptune. Feeling like I have to be there, like with them. It's like, who the fuck said that? I would definitely do some shadow work. I would do some shadow work activities that are related to the new moon in Pisces. A wonderful time to do that as we talk about Yeah. Yeah. You know, what is it that makes you feel like you need to be there for someone in a capacity that does not also ask for you to be? In other words, especially if you feel, okay, let's clear down the left side of the body. Let's clear. Yeah. This person actually, whoever is released from your life, doesn't have a good eye on your life in general, but you may feel still drawn to that person. Thank you for your super chat, guys. I mean, it's gonna become very obvious. Okay, yeah, this is not in the light for you. Can you guys give me a second, real quick? I gotta grab this from the back. I'm hearing as one door closes, another door opens. So it's like your spirit guides are like hoping. Oh, let me wash my hands. Hoping for you to really close that door, and they're telling you openly, like, that they're giving you this heads up, like the door is going to be closing. Okay, and I'm seeing a starship. Yeah, we are on different planes and dimensions, guys, right? I mean, we are definitely operating on different dimensions and planes. You are here on planet Earth, but you're also operating on you're moving on different dimensions. So it's like you're moving on different planes. You're literally taking flights on astral. And Spirit is saying we're disconnecting. So it's time. Like, I see it's like ET phone home, bro. You're about to get on that starship. And I see you like looking at someone, okay? It's like you're letting go. You realize you're where you're going. Yeah. So so, and it's not just you. There's a lot of people here who are in these, so, right, exactly. So let's clear around in the third eye. Now, it's exciting, guys. Okay, and the important thing is to not take on any feeling of that you're in the wrong place. No, you have made so much goddamn progress in your life. You don't owe anybody, okay, where you've been. So anyone who's like, oh, you just moved on, you just forgot about us, and you're just la la la. Yeah, whatever that is. Okay, can we even call that? I mean, that's not even like compassion. I'm here at a certain point. Like, you forgot. There's no such thing as you forgot about us, right? This is an illusion. It's about where you are at vibrationally, okay, and where you're truly willing to go yourself in your life. I can't carry you there. Some people don't want to deal with their karma, so they're gonna let's clear. They're gonna try and be a party pooper when you are clearing yours, because they are somehow still associating their success with yours. So this is very exciting, guys. Where you're going is very exciting. I think Spirit is saying, like, just be aware of how others are trying to interpret where you're going. They don't know where you're going. They don't know, unless you guys have been on the same path, right? And you're in alignment, right? Then okay, but many people will not know where. This is very rare that you'll have even really good friends. They don't know who you are, where you're going. I'm hearing it like this, because honestly, at times, I mean, do we really even know where we're going? This is your process of understanding where you're going, and it's something very intimate, and nobody should ever tell you who you are and where you're going. I don't know, it's a very specific message. Like, maybe someone here, like, you dealing with a situation where someone's interpreting, like, Maya says, when are you going to Salem? I'm going in April. It's official. Throat chakra. Spirit guys maybe don't want me to talk about. All right, let's get to it. Further. Let me get it. But of course, we'll always like heed our intuition, you know. Whatever's meant to be, right? Always listening to the guides. So, but yeah, it's like some people. I'm gonna say it, like, yeah. They're looking at you. You got a lot of people looking at you. Light workers are definitely in the light right now. Light workers, you got a lot of eyes on you. You do right now, and and you're realizing. So this is going to get very controversial for people who are realizing that you are not looking at them anymore, like you are, especially in the past. And they may try to project guilt onto you about that. This is a little bit of a warning, guys, but it is mostly very exciting. And most of the bulk of the work, you're not going back, I'm hearing that. The bulk of the work has been done, okay? And you really don't have, okay, you really don't have anything that you're negotiating here anymore. And it's more of a moment of like, yeah, bye. It's like, you just don't have much to say, maybe. And maybe, no. So let's get back to it. The new moon. But we still have here Venus in retrograde. I'm just gonna say retro. Okay, until, and the most intense day is when it goes clear, actually, from post shadow. I feel that shit even more. I feel that even the pre shadow and the post shadow even more than I feel the actual retrograde, because that at that point it's literally like saying we're already up in the air, but you just didn't even like you weren't even like awake when you were taking off or landing, you know. But what you really feel, you may feel some turbulence, but you're gonna feel those points where you're off the earth and then you land again. Okay, that's usually when people are most like hyper vigilant during, yeah, so on astral. So that's where people are going to also be acting the most quirky. Okay, I'm hearing that at times, or even like kind of like eccentric, or how do we say, like the energy is going to be kind of buzzing, or kind of how do we say, like something may feel even kind of like off, or where people feel triggered even. I'm hearing that. Yeah, so I personally don't like to make any huge decisions like around those dates when we do go into pre and post shadow, or yeah. So anyways, but let's get further. It's like, why is Michael acting so strange, like he's off? I'm hearing that. Yeah, because and especially with people who are not into astrology, like they're just going to be feeling like, you know, they're going to have the upgrades, but they're not, so that's even harder. That's like having someone on the flight that doesn't realize they're on the flight, and then they're like, they're reacting to how, yeah, so you know what I'm saying, this is the plane taking off. And it's a little bit of amnesia feeling even. I'm seeing that kind of like the guides are giving me that vision, like it's as if like someone is on the flight, they signed up for the flight, but they totally like forgot like that they're on. Yeah, it's like, what's going on, like what's going on, everyone? It's like that, but on astral. So you knowing what's going on more on in terms of astrology, especially being into astrology, like you kind of have that open eye to that aspect of things. And I think Spirit is saying like just kind of be maybe aware that not everyone is going to quite be in the state of open-mindedness also with what's going on. Interesting. Like maybe you'll be able to have another vantage point where you say, well, I kind of see that maybe this is something that's triggering the energies from the past, especially and especially with the nodes, okay, here just kind of hovering around in terms of the sextile to Mars and Venus, which is another part of the puzzle, but we're gonna get into that in a second. Again, we talked about this like briefly on members. If you want a more like synopsis version, that video is definitely your ticket. Okay, let's get through it though, further. So yeah, you being into astrology, it's almost like you're kind of like a doctor on call even. It's kind of like you're looking at people. Yeah, this is what this is. Light work is like you are Earth doctor. I say this all the time. Like you are here watching people going through their transformations as well. And does everyone who is talking to the doctor going, you know, are they always going to be also receptive or open to what the doctor has to say? You know, are they always going to be? I mean, they may fight the doctor, right? They may be like, hey, I don't like that what you're saying. I'm low on vitamin D. Like, you know, but this is there are levels and degrees, right? So you, in a way, you may even be triggering someone. You may be giving them some sort of diagnosis, even in terms, and maybe metaphorically, that they're not ready to hear, that they're not ready to feel. So let's clear it. They may not be in a place to be receptive to what you have to say and what you're triggering them with. Light workers, it's in terms of the vibration. When you are around someone, okay, anyone, they will feel you, and that's just normal, okay? But in terms of how they process the interaction, in terms of their psychology as a human being, okay, yeah, logically with their logical mind, even with their heart, they're gonna be feeling all kinds of ways. Okay, so what happens here, okay, is that then they feel the reaction, and they may process it in a way where it's like, I don't like what they're making me feel, I don't like what they're bringing out of me, kind of energy. And especially like, I mean, you may not be doing this consciously, okay, but this is happening. Okay, so you'll be like, I don't know why. Whoa, Hermio, why are you like acting all trippy with me? Why are you acting weird? Like, why are you kind of also like treating me like weird? It's like because there's something happening. Let's clear it. You're helping them process where they're at as a human being on this plane. So now I'm just kind of really clearly seeing it, but it's kind of like the important thing. It's kind of like you come in this anonymous state though, and so it's almost like you're triggering them, but the point is, because if it were obvious, like I'm surprised Spirit is really giving download with this as a time, I guess, to know, yeah, if they really knew what was going on, okay, because they may associate you as, because through the, depending on how insistent their ego is and how much they're holding onto their ego, they may actually see you as like a negative entity, okay, I'm hearing that as well, wow, not in terms of being, and in terms of, yeah, we're talking frequency, but more like, they may associate you as like, and they may treat you bad, they may treat you horribly, they may even talk crap, because they are going through their transformation by way of, you are the mirror for them basically. So by way of your presence. So they're associating. Now that's hard, I know, for light workers sometimes, but that's a cross check point of the shadow work. But that can be very challenging, because then you're like, why are they treating me like bad? But you come in an indirect way. It's kind of like they're in a way, I mean, people who are not awakened, right? I mean, they are. in a way, it's like it's an amnesia, right? So it's an amnesia, and they are not in the state of mind. They're not in the right mind. It's like there's a kind of like a crazed energy. They're not in the right mind to really interpret your presence in a way that is accurate. Okay, so they're kind of like seeing you. Okay, so now when people are taken away from your life after that point of that interaction, it's kind of like they are being taken away in a straitjacket. But they need to work, because they need to work on their own shit on their own. It's like you came in, you instigated it, you did the little, yeah, and it's okay if they think you're crazy. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay if they think you're XYZ and they think that you're on your, I'm hearing balls. I don't know what that is alluding to. They may even project it on you. Now, that doesn't matter. Okay, that doesn't matter, right? Because you are not what happens to them in terms of that chemical reaction with their higher self. So I want to draw this out. Like when you literally come into contact with people, I'm talking light workers, right? When you come into contact with people, what happens is it's almost like I see these prongs of energy, okay, that are sent out. And so it's literally like you shoot out this sort of like frequency, okay, and which makes sense. Yeah, okay, but and then what happens? Oh, we lose the pen ink right there. Oh, okay, well, because it's energy, we don't see it, right? This is not something we're seeing. So so take it as you will. What happens is the energy prongs are sent out. Now, and what we are seeing is, hi, Bob, how are you doing today? It's like, but what's really going on, and this could happen in any dimension, right? I mean, at your work, it could happen with your boss. It doesn't matter the age, the gender, the so-called socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter. It's the prongs of energy that are sent out, okay? And what happens is they're like, whoa, they take that in, okay? They start feeling some kind of way, okay? They're feeling like something like happening, and but what's happening meanwhile is they're processing it with their rational mind. Then they may start feeling things like, whoa, it's like kind of like a detoxification. So what happens is you actually start triggering their spots in the body, we'll say, to make it simple, the spots in their energy body, okay, that are toxic. So what they start feeling is that you are sort of in a way like, well, how do we say, what they're feeling is a detoxification, and they're seeing themselves so much more clearly in that moment, like, whoa, okay, like I'm seeing my own ego right now. I'm seeing and then they are reacting to that, but all in that very moment. So the important thing is to detach also when you are obviously interacting with a lot of people, period. Okay, as a light worker, we've talked about this, how usually during a very also heavy period in your life as a light worker where you're doing a lot of clearing, usually spirit will have you more isolated, okay? You won't be so like so-called social as it is to the social norms on planet Earth. So what further is happening here is that then you will be pulled away. You're not here for that interaction. You're not there to watch him, okay, have his detoxification, okay? This is not the point. So what's happening is that then but you're still sometimes phasing, and that's why it's so important, okay? That's why it's so important to do, cleanses, right? And routinely to clear your aura, to clear your energy fields, because you're not here in this dimension getting stuck and hovering in this space of the interaction with Bob. That has happened, okay? So now what happens further okay, what happened? Otherwise, it's like, listen, you're a doctor, and you have people coming into your clinic, or however it is, okay? And you give them the diagnosis, but they gotta go, right? I mean, you have to see other people. So to do that, it's like, if that guy is gonna be standing, so you see, okay, now what's going on further, then he's feeling this weird sensation, okay? He's feeling this like weird kind of like, I don't feel like me anymore, like kind of, and then what happens is he's associating what he's feeling in that moment as a reflection with you. So what spirit is saying, okay, is that you are now, for some of you, you remain in some sense detached, but attached. Depending on the soul contract, obviously, depending on, okay, it's like you're kind of like, I'm hearing even like a surrogate mother to that person. Oh, very interesting. I don't know, take it as you will. But you, in some way, right, and this is why spirit allows certain messages to come through at certain points in time, when we're ready also as light workers to be able to see what we're really doing here, right? Furthermore. Now, so the download that I'm getting here though specifically is that you remain connected to that person. Hence why it's like, as a light worker, you're very, very intuitive. You're very, very empathic. You kind of on some level, it's like, I know that, okay, like I am not really wanting to be here right now with that person, but there's something that's holding me. Now that something, okay, is obviously the contract, but there is another reason for it. It's not like, oh yeah, I want to deal with Bob's bullshit. It's like, there is something that Bob in a way like needs help with, okay, but not directly. It's more like the connection period purely. So now, and that also serves, further, okay, with your light work capabilities. You having that cross-check with Bob actually helps, and it adds to your arsenal when it comes to your energetic abilities. What you experience with Bob, you're then able to apply to another situation with another person, and it helps you. So that's why no experience is really like what it is. No experience is really what it is in terms of 3D. It's not like I dated Bob and Bob was an asshole. Bob was helping you in a way by going through his shit. Let's clear. And you guys had that contract. You had that soul contract for the mutual benefit. Now, what I'm seeing here further in the collective, obviously, right, for you and them. Now, what I'm seeing here further is that when you do, again, you have this interaction, obviously now the way to know, okay, if someone's also going through major healing is if you are being pulled away from them. So if you come together and then you dissipate the connection, but like you're still in contact or you're still thinking about them, Spirit has you sort of lined up, okay, to still be in that storyline, okay, for a very particular purpose. It's not random, like, it's not random that you can't stop thinking about that person or that you're still thinking about them in any capacity or that they're coming through. There's something about that interaction that is necessary. And it's not meant to be like, wow, like, why is Spirit, like, trying to, like, kind of, like, you know, like, are they trying to, like, how do we say, like, punish me? I was like, I'm hearing that. Sometimes you're like, why I can't, like, it kind of like, you know, how do we say someone's giving they're in labor and they're giving birth and you're outside the door. It's like you're not the one giving birth, but like you're standing out there, you can't leave technically. You have to wait until they like have their moment and then you can come back into the room. You know, it's something like that. You're listening though, and a lot of it is projected energy. Hence why light workers are, again, very empathic, but then you're in situations possibly from time to time where you are hearing what's going on with another person, okay? And you know in a way that, like, for example, like I would never do that to someone. Why am I drawn to that person? You're sort of like outside their room of labor. So that's what's happening, but with their higher self and their ego self. And this is where we're looking with this Mars trine sextile, the nodes, north node, the south node, is you're really looking at the purging of the ego, the shadow of the ego, and where it's been imbalanced, where someone has been like way off yonder, okay, with the ego, and not balancing that with a karmic implication perspective. So right now you're being pulled away, I feel. For some of you, like really pulled away, if it is meant to be, from things that are just, it's like the karma is over in a way when it comes to how you are playing a role in projecting that energy for them. So yeah, very interesting. Okay, then we have the moon moving into Pisces. We have that new moon. Now, yeah, so I'm hearing clean up, everybody do your share. Yeah, so and a lot of this is happening on astral. I actually see like people being pulled into like sort of how do we say vestibules? I'm saying like let me show you. It's on the starseed card. This is exactly what I'm imagining. Is like it is truly some kind of, and we can see it as like the light worker is like the probiotic to, yeah, well we'll just say like the shadow space. Let's see here though. We talked a lot about that, like actually with the gut bacteria, which is also very interesting. The gut bacteria conversation is very relevant. Nothing is random. The physical body, right, is consciousness. So we are mostly made of bacteria. Research it, look into it. The gut, that's your second brain. So if you're dealing with anything also psychologically, you might want to look into gut bacteria, talk to your personal practitioner, talk to your naturopath. Address the gut, number one. Okay, it's clear. Like, yeah, for like definitely if you're dealing with anything in the body, address the gut. This is what I would say, but talk to your personal practitioner, listen to your intuition. Let's clear the energy around. This is the card I'm thinking of. People are in their wards, okay? They're in their wards. Okay, we're being kind of like, and so if it's, yeah, you got it. This is what it is about. We're transmuting, and that's the last of it. This is really the last of it, guys. And Spirit wants to say that they are so proud of everyone here and where we have gone on this journey. We have made so much progress and we are truly enlightening, okay? And this is very, 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 very surprising given what has been, but not, okay? Because yeah, this is in the contract. Let's go. So let's get further, guys. Now, what are we looking at? We have here Venus trine North Node, Venus sextile. So I wonder if we should talk about this. Okay, let's talk about this. So I have this theory. I've been like kind of getting downloads from Spirit about how it's almost like, well, we can say like as above, so below, but also with the patterns, right? So the patterns, we'll say, in nature and life, is very interesting to say that, you know, butterfly effect, okay, golden ratio sort of thing, where, you know, if we see something is in one state, it must be in another. And so if we look at even just ourselves, our body, okay, if we look at our physical body, I kind of have this feeling that, you know, in a way we are here healing, let's say, an organ, and earth can be seen as sort of like an organ. So, but in terms of specifically, yeah, the cells, okay. Now, but without getting very crazy about it, let's backtrack, clear ground. What I'm seeing is it's almost like light workers are here, sort of, they've been planted here, okay, as sort of like stem cells, in an organ, okay, that has okay, been needing of help and assistance in terms of transformation healing. So this is sort of like what it's like, I feel, to be a light worker here on earth, is that you're literally planted and placed in a very particular, let's say, diseased part of tissue of earth. And I know that maybe sounds a little bit like crazy or weird, but I really believe that this is what we're in a way we're doing here. And so what has been is, you know, these karmic transformational points have been really a moment where we said we made a huge leg of the journey in terms of that healing. And so there is a broader conversation here, right? And we know that there's a reason for this, but we still feel like extremely odd and strange where we're at. But there's a reason for this. So yeah, because if you literally were to imagine like the consciousness of a stem cell, that's very interesting, right? I mean, to be like, but you're here on a mission. If you look into Dolores Cannon, it's very interesting. She had done so many hypnotherapy sort of sessions, and she said, like, you know, so many people who were like very like so-called sad or depressed, like she would do hypnotherapy, and she'd ask them, what are you doing here on earth? Like it would come down to that point and say, what do you, and they said, I heard the call that earth needed help. So that sort of realization. So there's a point and there's a purpose. And I know that I've talked about this as well in other videos, astro chats. If you're a light worker, you most likely are not going to be for a period of time like just hanging around jolly with, you know, other light workers all the time. This is usually actually a period where you will be also placed in spaces, in places physically as well, where there's a lot of history and things that need to get cleared. So you will also most likely be spending time alone, like hermit style. This is something that spirit wants to bring forward. Like there's a reason if you feel isolated during your light working energies, you know, there's a reason for that. So let's backtrack around. Now, what are we looking at here? Further, I also want to talk about, yeah, so now the point we're at, and you guys remember when we were talking about how like the majority of the clearing has been done, like we have made our decisions and spirit is ascending. It was a video, it was a clearing reptilian frequencies video. It was a very powerful transmission from spirit. Let me grab the link because it was very interesting, and I feel it's exactly that point where we have made our decision and we are ascending, we're not going back, okay? At that point, right there, guys, I feel like that was a moment where the doctor looks at the patient and is like, they're healing, okay? Something like that. Yeah, it's really exciting, guys. Oh my God. I feel like spirit is like so proud of us. Like, oh my God. Really, like, and we all have been part of this. And it's, yeah, and wow. So, guys, was it the full moon that I was crying? Oh, man. Oh, guys. Yeah, I feel like spirit is like really like, they're like, we got you, you know, like as light workers, like we were literally sent out here as like, you know, kind of like the first of our kind. I'm going to be honest, you know, like in the chat when we were like, oh, the chat when we were like, when I was talking about being in Japan, you guys remember? I'm feeling that same energy, yeah. So it's like, you know, we literally were like sent out like, you know, on the moon, like starseeds on the moon, like kind of vibe. And like I mean, this is all kind of experimental. Like we didn't really know, like they didn't really know, you know, but they've been watching us, and it's like they've been watching us kind of like planted, and like they're seeing us grow, they're seeing everyone else grow. It's really beautiful. So just know that like the bulk of the karma has been decided on. I'm hearing that as well by most on in terms of their higher self, and so it is what it is. Kind of like now we're just seeing the fruits of our labor. It's very exciting, guys. So yeah, but what did I want to look into here really quickly? We can't shed light. We can't not shed a tear around the new moon in Pisces. Come on. The sun is in Pisces as well. Sun sextile Uranus. Spirit guys just pressing the tears button. Tears. So, but yeah, let's clear and run. Yeah, so let's backtrack. Clear and run. And, you know, yeah, so we'd mentioned this, like, you know, people have made that decision. Even people who are not into energy, right? So-called. Playing, yeah, they've made their decision as well. And so it's a collective sort of like, it's a collective conversation where we say we're now just going to listen to the song that's sung out, and we're not going to like judge like where people have decided to sort of land with their persona here in this dimension. And so yeah, it's something that we don't also need, you know, necessarily like closure with or understanding with, because it is a broader conversation, right, of how everyone also is interacting with everyone. We're all connected in a way, we're all sort of conversing, and so, but certain conversations, right, become more a part of our future and less a part of our future, depending on where it is that we decide we're going. So we're in the driver's seat, we decide when we are moving forward, and we're making major clearing conversations, also more known, interesting, where maybe like we become more obvious with where we stand in terms of energy, where we say, you know what, I'm going to be like extremely adamant about how I see this story, how I see also where I've been, and how I see myself leading into the next steps and stages of life. You guys, we're gonna get back into it. Maybe we'll take a break here, and yeah, like maybe we'll get into a new moon reading at some point. We'll talk more on that, because these energies are very, very powerful as well, hovering around that